Hello, this is Robert Plenek, the owner of Brutal Iron Gym. In this video, I'd like to take the time to show you how to perform an exercise. The exercise is called a Pallof Rotation into hold. So the Pallof part refers to the name of the person who kind of made the exercise famous. So what we're going to do is we're going to be using a long resistance band, and you can attach it to any kind of stationary object. It can be a door frame, it can be a doorway. I'm using this right here, this machine. You can use a squat rack, anything you have access to that won't move. So we're going to attach the band to that object. I'm then going to go ahead and stand sideways to that band, and then the hand that will be closest towards the band is the one that goes on first. So I'm just going to loop my hand inside the band. I'm going to take my other hand and place it interlaced over top of that hand. So this gives me control of the band. So now what I want to do is I want to start close to the band and have it holding close to my chest. So right now there's really no resistance. What I want to do in order to create some resistance is I'm going to go ahead and keep it close to my chest and step out away from the object, so the stationary object. So what this is it's creating resistance. Until you do this once or twice, you won't know how much resistance or how far away is far enough. So just start with your best guess. It's always better to guess on this side being too easy. So try a set or two there, then start to kind of step your way out to create more and more resistance until you find a location or a distance that's challenging enough. So once I'm in this position, and we want to notice, if you look, my feet are pretty much underneath my shoulders. So if I were to change my foot width, that'll actually make the exercise easier to go wider. If I'm narrower, that makes it harder. So pay attention each set to be consistent with the width of your feet. Also, while you're doing this exercise, if you have any pain in your knees or in your ankles, that could be related to some torque within the joint. So you can just bend your legs a little bit, and that'll put more of that torque responsibility into the muscles rather than through the joint. So once I'm in this position, I'm going to go ahead and extend my arms. That creates an initial burst of difficulty now that the band is further away from me, and this is where the exercise really begins. So once your arms are extended, once I'm in this position, I want to make sure that my core is staying very tight. So the object of this exercise is to strengthen your ab wall. So I want to make sure that my ab wall is nice and firm and tight. So a good way to think of it is if somebody were going to like punch you or poke you, you're braced against that. So if I were to stand sideways, you would see I'm not going to arch my back this way. I'm not going to be hunched over. I want to be nice and straight. So you want everything very compact and tight in your ab wall. So if you're doing this to correct and separation within the abs, or to try to tighten down the appearance of your abs, you want to make sure that you're pulling your abs inward as you're bracing. So you don't want to puff your belly out. You want to pull the belly inward and hold it nice and tight. So that'll be throughout the entire exercise. So again, once I have my position, I'll punch my arms out. I'm going to hold that position real quick just to get established. Then the exercise begins when I start with rotations. So I'm going to rotate, allowing my hands to travel in front of this shoulder. I'll then rotate to where my hands are in front of the other shoulder. I'm going to go back and forth, controlling that rotation, making sure it's going at the pace that I want, not just snapping back and forth. I'm also going to keep this rotation within my core, so rotating through my abs and my obliques, which is the side ab wall. So those muscles are what should be rotating, not my hips. So my hips should not be swiveling or pivoting as I'm doing this. I want my hips to stay in place, and the only rotation is going to come through that midsection. So when you do this correctly, you'll find it's pretty challenging just to get those muscles to fire and not have other muscles try to help. So once I have 10 rotations, I'm going to stop in the middle position, and I'm going to hold that for 10 seconds. So this gives us the stimulus of rotating, and then also anti-rotating. So this is a bracing stimulus. So this will teach our body and our abs how to resist rotation or torque, so which is a very useful thing outside of the gym, doing normal chores and household activities. So we're going to kind of hold that for 10 seconds, and then after I've done 10 rotations with a 10-second hold, that counts as one set. I can release the weight. I would then spin around and do the same thing on the other side, so that way I have a set facing each direction, and that way it'll provide an even stimulus to my core. So depending on which way I'm facing, it'll change which muscles are doing what. So you want to make sure you face both ways, and then you can call that one set on each side. Okay, so that is Pallof Rotations into holds. Thank you.